So you don't believe that there is a God at all? There is no God?
Until someone gives me proof of a God,
Right.
I will say that there isn't one.
Where do you get your values from?
From me.
From me?
From that
you?
little, that you have it too, that little voice that's in your head that tells you.
And you
I have
get-
common sense. Everybody's born with morals, common sense, ethics, your life experience dictate.
And so you say you get them from that little voice in your head?
Correct. And everyone has that little, that's my God, is that little voice in my head that says, no, I'm not going to inflict pain upon another human being because it's wrong.
And where's that voice coming from?
My head, my consciousness.
So,
My brain activity, that's where it comes from. Everyone has it.
so your brain activity has a voice?
Yes,
And
it's
it
called my
talk-
consciousness.
and-
And I have a high level of consciousness.
And so does this voice speak words to you?
Yes, it does.
It talks to you.
So
your brain's...
It speaks to me. It tells me what's right, what's wrong. It tells me, it's full of common sense.
So your brain that causes your body to function has a voice to you, and it directs you with words about moral values or about values.
Correct.
And your brain's created this voice.
Correct.
That's amazing.
It sounds amazingly just like my voice.
It sounds like yours?
Yeah, it sounds just like my voice.
Do you believe there's evil or the devil?
Do I believe there's the devil?
I know you don't believe there's a God. Do you believe there's a Satan?
Yes, of course there's a Satan.
So why do you believe there's a Satan but not a God?
Because Satan is real. Evil is real.
But good is not?
No,
Good is not real?
no.
But evil is real?
Correct.
And are you a good man or an evil man?
I'm a good man.
How are you good if you're not getting your goodness from God?
Because I don't believe in God.
But how are you good then?
I get my goodness from Satan.
But you just said Satan is evil.
Okay. He's not evil all the time.
He's good.
Is God good all the time?
Yes.
If God is good all the time, could you explain slavery to me?
God is good all the time.
Well, could you explain slavery to me?
Man is in a fallen state, and they created slavery. God didn't have anything to do with that.
So God didn't have anything
Matter
to
of
do
fact,
with
they
that.
were influenced by your God, Satan.
But, okay. So God didn't have anything to do with slavery.
No,
Right?
right.
And that was all on man?
Yes, influenced by evil.
Okay, but if God, he's an all-knowing God, correct?
Yes.
So he knows that slavery is going on, but yet he fails to intercede or to stop it. You know, we're all God's children, supposedly. Why come he couldn't say, those children need to let those children go?
Well, we're not all God's children. Some
We're not
some
all
people
God's
are
children?
of Satan, such
Okay.
as yourself.
And what about the Islamic people? Is that the same God as the God you worship?
No.
No, it's a different
No,
God?
it's a different God. The God that created us all, us all,
Mm-hmm.
is a God of all love all the time. Apparently, the Islamic or Muslim God is not.
He's
they
not.
believe in
So
cutting
you're-
your head off and
Mhm.
restricting women and carrying on if you don't go along with them.
Ever heard of the Dark Ages?
I have. What's wrong with that? If they are a Christian organization who believes in God and believe that God is the way out of this hell that these kids are going through, why would they bring in an atheist? It doesn't make sense. Most Christians believe that Satan is the problem, that he's influencing the kids in a negative way. Why would they bring in an atheist to work with them if they're a Christian?
Our schools are public. Those are public funds, tax-paying dollars. When you pay taxes, they don't ask you what religion you are. So this is why we need a separation of church and state. I was giving them a benefit of a doubt. So I went to the church thinking that no, they wouldn't be discriminatory. They
But
would
you
look
had-
at the
but you had
program
to
and they would
realize-
accept me no matter what.
I know, but you had to realize your thinking was wrong then. You were not thinking straight.
I wasn't
Because
thinking straight.
I made the
I'm
mistake
thinking
of-
of trying to help children.
I made the mistake of hiring an atheist. I would never do that again. And so,
Just because they're an atheist.
no, not just because they're an atheist, but because they have no really, they can't be trusted.
Atheists can't be trusted.
They have no foundation of love and honesty and truth to stand on. And so an atheist would do whatever the atheist feel like
So
doing.
you're sitting here basically
Well,
telling me I have no
well, I
love,
don't know about
no
you,
trust.
but the ones
Well, I'm
that-
an atheist, sir.
The ones I've dealt with. But
I'm
my
atheist.
point is, if I'm a Christian and I know that a person admits that he or she believes in Satan, why would I want to work with that person? on a daily basis, knowing
Why
that.
would I want to work with you?
Because they need.
Knowing that you believe in a God
Right.
that you
And I would
can't present to anyone.
I would understand that. I wouldn't take it personally. I wouldn't think it's wrong for you
And why
to
can't we treat each other
discriminate.
as human beings?
But I'll treat you well, but I just wouldn't let you minister to a group of kids who I know are already having problems with Satan. And so I'm going to bring the son of Satan to talk to them. Doesn't make sense. But anyway,
Wow.
that's why you're running, right? Because you
Yeah.
want to change that.
Yeah.
But
And-
you're
and-
going to
and
be discriminated against them.
me discriminating
Uh-huh.
against someone?
You're going to discriminate against the Christian. You
No,
just said
no.
it's
That's
discrimination
that's
wrong.
the thing about atheists. We don't discriminate.
It's discrimination wrong.
Discrimination is wrong.
It is
in,
wrong?
in all contexts.
And so-
Yes, discrimination is wrong.
But you want to have religion. I read that you want religion out of the public square, right?
Correct.
Is that discrimination?
discriminate? Depends on. Now, if you put up,
Depends on
if you're
what?
the mayor,
If you want to remove religion from the public square,
right?
is that discrimination?
No, that's not discrimination.
Why not?
That's part of the founding fathers' proclamation, because we have a separation.
You're
sir,
not being honest,
of
Mr.
church
Atheist.
And church and state.
See, I told you.
You keep the church and state separate.
So you want to?
So that's not being discriminatory.
Why? Why not?
Okay, will it be? It would be
Why not?
discriminatory
Tell
if
me
I was
why not.
if I was saying we want to keep Allah out of our government.
No.
Now that would be discriminatory. If I say we want to keep Christ out, that would be
No.
we want to keep religion
And-
as a whole out of our politics.
but why?
Why? Because everyone does not think the same or have the same beliefs.
And as a result, you want to discriminate.
No.
Right, because they don't have your same
No,
belief.
you're twisting words worse than Donald Trump up here, sir.
No, I'm not. Do you support transgender men and women going into bathrooms and showers and dressing rooms of choice?
Yes, I support them. They should have the right to go into any bathroom that they feel their orientation dictates.
So if a man is walking down the road and he decides, you know what, I just feel like a woman.
But see, that's being disingenuous
And
with the
he
whole
said,
with the whole
No, I'm
conversation.
not. No,
Yeah.
it's real. And he said,
Yeah,
oh, I need
you don't
to
just
go.
walk down the road. This is a process.
I know, I understand,
most of
Bob.
these people from a very early age, and it's documented and researched, most of these human beings from a very early age have an identity for their sexual orientation. Now, it may not fit.
You know where that influence come from.
No, sir, but you're going to let me know. Tell me.
Your father, the devil.
The father, the devil.
Uh-huh.
Okay, of course. Where else would it come from? The devil.
So this man walking down the road, all of a sudden he just feels like a woman. And now he needs to use the bathroom.
All of a sudden, he feel like a woman.
Right,
Okay.
he needs to use the bathroom. There's a bathroom over there. He goes over and he walks right into the woman's bathroom. Your daughter is sitting there using the bathroom. How would you feel about that?
My daughter's sitting there using the bathroom. She's going to be done in a second.
No, I
She's
said,
not
how
going
would you personally feel about that? This man walking in there, right, looking at your daughter.
Now, see, you guys,
He got to look
this
at
is
her,
what
she's sitting
religious.
there.
This is what religious people do.
No, how would you feel
I would
about
assume
that?
she's sitting in a stall with the door closed.
Not all bathrooms have stalls, but how would you feel about that?
He's standing there looking at her.
Uh-huh.
Why wouldn't he be using the restroom what he came in
But
there
he's
for?
still going to be looking around. He's not going to sit
Oh,
there and
he's
close
gonna
his
be
eyes.
looking around.
The question is, how would you feel about that?
I feel fine. I raise my kids to be very intelligent. Why is it always the religious people that feel they have the moral right and the justification to go in and decide what you should do in your bedroom and what you should do in the bathroom?
So you taught your daughter to be intelligent enough to sit there on that stall while this man is sitting there using it and looking at her.
My
and
children
you
are very
as a father
intelligent.
wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Wouldn't have a problem with it at all.
How about if your daughter just finished PE in high school? She's in the 10th, 11th grade, and there's some guy in the same class, and it's time to take a shower. This guy said, oh, I feel like a girl. I want to take a shower with the girls. They all go into the girls' bathroom.
Okay.
And the boys and the girls getting naked, getting into the shower together. Would you be okay for your daughter to go through that process?
I'd be fine with it.
You know why I'm not surprised? Because Satan is your father.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Hi, Dad.
So there are no limits, except for good. There are no limits as to what Satan will have his children to do.
As human beings, we need to apply common sense, dignity, and respect to all of these potential situations that you're speaking of.
How about the respect of the men and women who are not for that? They don't want a man or a woman walking into their showers.
Well, that's why it's a
into
democracy.
their bathrooms.
This is why we have a democracy and a
What
Supreme
about
Court.
the respect for those people?
They have rights, of
Should
course.
they
They
be
have
treated-
rights too.
but
They have
should
the
they be-
right to not concern themselves with what goes on in the privacy of a bathroom or a bedroom.
Should they be respected?
Everyone's rights should be respected.
And so when
but
out
there's
of
certain
nowhere you
things
got-
that
when-
you get out of your Bible.
When out of nowhere the government create this rule that you can use whatever shower or bathroom you want to, just impose on the folks who disagree with that, are they respecting those people?
Everyone's rights should be respected.
Are those people being respected who disagree with that?
Yes, they're not being disrespected,
Why is that?
because what happens in the privacy of a bathroom,
It's not a bathroom is a public place.
a bathroom
If
is a
it's
public
outside
place.
of your home.
So
it's
take a
bathroom-
camera into a bathroom. See how
Well, you know
see
that's
how it
already-
goes for you.
You know that's already happening with these so-called transgender people, right? Do you believe transgender is a mental illness, or you think Satan?
I believe
cre-
religion is a mental illness.
So would you have a problem with your wife shower with a man in a? Your wife go to the gym?
Yes, she sure does.
She works out, right?
Yes.
And let's say there's some guys in there who say they feel like women, even though there's no proof, but they just say
They just
feel
feel
like
they
women.
just feel feeling feminine today.
Right. Wow, I feel like shower with the women today. I feel like a woman. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Be absolutely fine with it.
So you're not even there to protect your wife
Because
from
I know my wife.
from the invaders.
How would they be invaded? They're transgender. We're talking about transgender people.
What
We're
is a
not-
transgender to you?
to me?
Uh-huh.
It's someone who was born with the anatomy of the opposite sex. And it could happen. The chemical makeup in the brain, the research determined all of this, that they actually identify as the opposite sex.
Black Lives
Not-
Matter. You heard of Black Lives Matter? I'm rushing
Yes,
a little
sir.
because of time.
Yes, sir.
It's a radical, agitated black group of people. How do you feel about them?
Well, you know, they call Martin Luther King radical also.
How about Black Lives Matter?
I think it's good to see the youth stand up and be active. Working 10 years at 2 different maximum security prisons, I can tell you that the prisons in California are full of blacks and Latinos.
Right.
African American males make up only 6% of the state population, but we make up 46% of the prison population.
Why so many in jail, in prison?
Why? Because of our capitalistic society. You have hyper segregation in these urban areas with no jobs, no opportunities, very little hope, and then you expect for them to,
So you
not
like-
survive.
so
They're
you're
doing
saying-
crimes of survival.
You're saying that they're killing each other like this. In Chicago, it's gone up 80% since the police backed down. You're saying they're doing it because of capitalism?
No, I'm saying they're doing it out of a lack of opportunity. If those same young men had education and jobs,
Right.
they wouldn't have to look at the gang or the drug route. They wouldn't have to. That wouldn't be their only option.
Let me
Let me
tell you
ask you something.
this in closing.
You guys always talk about blacks killing blacks. What do we kill blacks with? With guns, right?
Yeah, that's
we
what
kill
they,
a lot of each
they
other
tend to
with
use.
guns.
Right.
Any of you guys ever ask the question, where do we get our guns at? How many African American
They
gun
steal them.
how many African American gun
They steal them.
manufacturers do we have in the United States? 0.
But what,
So,
does that, what does
but-
that have to do with anything?
Where are we getting our guns at?
Let me say this to you. I was raised one thing you don't know is that I was raised on a plantation.
You were
And,
raised on a plantation?
Yeah, down in Alabama under the Jim Crow laws. And we were restricted from living in certain areas. And blacks were poor. We never stole, we never killed each other. It wasn't happening then. We respected each other. We worked hard and did what we had to do. We went to all black schools, the killing, the raping, the robbing, and having all these babies out of wedlock. There were some kids born out of wedlock, but it wasn't like it is today. And blacks had less opportunity then than they do now. So how do you explain that it wasn't happening then, but it is today? But most.
You have any stats?
But we brought
can you
up.
Can you Google some of this? that you're talking about?
We brought up black people about Black Lives Matter
Correct.
when we talked about Black Lives Matter. I gotta ask, when Black Lives Matter were chanting, what do we want? Pigs in the blanket. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them? Now, marching in New York. Did you agree with that?
No, I didn't agree with that, but
Was
that
that
was not
wrong?
Black Lives Matter.
Yes, it was. Was
No,
it
wasn't.
wrong?
They were not active members of Black Lives
Was
Matter.
it
Those
wrong?
are people that
No,
joined the
no,
parade.
No, it wasn't. It's Black Lives Matter, buddy.